It's mock day. I mean, it's Labor Day, actually, but it's mock day. And my goal today is to do a bunch. I don't know how many we're going to get through. 1, 2, 3, a million. Probably won't be a million. That feels like we're aiming kind of high. But we're going to go for as many as we can on this lovely Labor Day morning. First one, I've given myself the 5th pick. Mock starts in about 2 minutes, as folks can see on their screen. But, of course, I will be narrating this for those listening after the fact as well. I am Dan Vespers. This is Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. Doing some bonus episodes today. 1, 2, 3. See how many mocks we can get in. I want to try to do... So we've done one from the one spot, and we went Jokic. I still haven't done a Wemby mock. We did a Steph mock. We did an Anthony Davis one. In any event, we're going to try to get through as many different team builds as possible. I haven't really done an assist build yet, interestingly, because a lot of folks, that's their preferred go-to in the opening round. Again, you can find me on Twitter at Dan Vespers. You can follow Old Man Squad on Twitter at Old Man Squad. Please like, rate, and subscribe. This is actually especially important on a show like a live mock, because a lot of times folks forget to click those buttons on these ones. And so a lot of people watch the show and then it's not like not a growth opportunity. So I want to make sure it's both. Mock starting in 53 seconds. Still waiting on a couple of dudes to join. This was put out on Twitter about 7-8 minutes before the mock started. So if you follow me on social at Dan Vespers, that's the best way to find out how to get into the mock with us. So, yeah, now we're basically just playing the waiting game here. My hope, I'll lay this out at the front end, is that I can end up with Giannis, and we'll try a little punt free throw style mock. I haven't done that one yet either, not specifically. First mock we did, I was trying to do it. I gave myself the 6th pick, and then someone went Giannis at 5. So this time around, screw it. I'll take the 5. Just going to lock myself in here. And then we'll see where everything takes us. Big thank you to everybody that continues to watch and play and enjoy. And it looks like we're still at 1 or 2 autos, which is a little bit frustrating. But we'll go, maybe we won't go all the way to the end, do the first 5-6 rounds on this one and see where that takes us. Because the autos tend to screw things up as you get a little bit deeper. Beginning of the draft, you tend to still generally get the same guys. But once you start to get to that area of the draft where randos that normally get skipped for 2 or 3 rounds are coming off on the auto picks, that screws it up. First time that happens, it's not a big deal, but by like the 3rd round that the auto picks are taking dudes that no one wants, then you're starting to get guys a half round later than you normally would. That is discombobulating. So here we go. I got Giannis at 5. That's what I was expecting. It went Wemby, Jokic, Doncic, Shea. That's the top 4. That's the way that's been going. Halliburton goes right after me at 6. This is the half of the draft room that is all live human beings. So this will be perfectly accurate coming back. And I don't think anything was weird before my pick either. So this is pretty easy and normal starting point. I'll do my best here to try to get the draft board up for people to see. I don't know if that's going to go all that well, but we'll do our best. So after me, it went Halliburton, then Anthony Davis goes 7, Trae Young pretty early at 8, Embiid at 9, ahead of Tatum, interestingly, Kevin Durant at 11, and now we're all caught up. Steph goes 12, pretty standard tail end of the first round. The Embiid at 9 in a head-to-head mock ahead of Tatum was interesting. And then Trae Young going as early as 8 is... You really do. You lock yourself into a specific build, which I'm sort of doing myself, so I can't talk down on it much. But you still had some guys left there that are a little bit more well-rounded if you wanted to go that way. James Harden goes at 14. While everybody is picking, this is where we sort of flip back to the board and see who would be a good fit. Everybody always wants to go LeBron and De'Aaron Fox behind Giannis because they're not particularly good at foul shooting. But you also have Scotty Barnes, who's not a great free throw shooter, does similar stuff as those guys, maybe slightly better on the defensive side. Donovan Mitchell goes 15. Chet Holmgren 16. LaMelo Ball at 17. Devin Booker 18. Kyrie gets auto-picked at 19, and now it's on me. So Anthony Edwards still being there is intriguing. His free throw percent did get better. Scotty Barnes, De'Aaron Fox, LeBron James are the guys that make the most sense here. Debating between Barnes and LeBron is, I don't know. It's a tough one. You're getting boards, you're getting assists either way. You get more defensive stats with Barnes, so I'll probably lean his direction. I think we'll be fine getting field goal percent boosts late if I need them. There are plenty of punt free throw centers floating around in that 100 to 125 zone. So I don't feel like I need LeBron's field goal percent over Scotty Barnes. The only downside to that pick was 3-pointers. That's the advantage to LeBron over Barnes. Both of those guys are still on the board right now. Anthony Edwards goes 21. Kawhi goes early at 22. We got the second to last team just joined, so we're only at 1 auto pick now, which is good. I think that'll allow us to go a solid 7-8 rounds in this one, and we'll then cut it short. LeBron, Brunson, Dame. LeBron at 23, Brunson and Dame on the front end turn at 24 and 25. Fox is still there. If he doesn't make it to me, then we probably go big again. But this is the spot where you kind of need to get your guards early because there are so many bigs later. Şengün goes 26. That would have been the other option if you wanted to go big man who gets a lot of other stuff. I think I got to make sure I get 3-pointers here, and so that's going to be De'Aaron Fox. You don't have to take a bad foul shooter. It's not mandated. Punting free throws doesn't mean you take the worst foul shooter on the board every time. It just means you're not paying much attention to it. So I got my guy. Fox is still there. I'll take him at 29. It went Paul George at 27, Jaren Jackson Jr. at 28. Pretty damn good start to my team here. Giannis, Scotty Barnes, De'Aaron Fox. Looking at the numbers, and for YouTubers, I'll put the draft board up there because I know you guys can't see what's happening right now. There's the draft board. I'm going to let a few picks roll while I talk about something else. The rank board from last year is a reasonable place to start to kind of figure out where you should be looking. You can punt free throws and see what everybody's rank looks like. LeBron was ahead of Barnes if you were punting foul shots last year. I just think LeBron is due to miss 15 games this season. And I know Scotty missed 22, but he's so young. And if the Raptors are in contention for a play-in spot, I think they'll run him. So I took the more durable of the two options, although they're very close if you're punting free throws last season. LeBron, again, with the edge, largely because he was doing more damage in that category. And he has the field goal percent leap, which I don't really need all that badly. De'Aaron Fox was number 11 last year. If you were punting free throws, he was obviously a big-time target. And if you're looking at guards, which, again, I think you should be in this spot. So, if you're looking at Basketball Monster, you can kind of turn off certain categories. Other guys that make big leaps up the board, guys that have guard eligibility, McCollum, DeJounte Murray, Jalen Johnson is a wing that sees a bump there. Let's go back to the board because I think we got some things that happened. So after my pick, it went Cat, Lauri Markkanen, Freddie Van Vliet, pick 32. Maxey at 33. That's a much more reasonable spot for him than where he was going a week ago. Adebayo, 34. Cade, 35. Evan Mobley at 36. Oh, we got everybody. Full house now. All right, I guess we can go a little farther. Jalen Williams starts the 4th round at 37, then Miles Turner at 38. This is where I need to go back to the player board to see who's still out there. I'm not really hunting DeJounte Murray, but again, I do need guard stats early. So he's someone I would consider in this round. Plus at 44, he's not a bad value. Jalen Johnson goes at 39. He would have been the other target there. Ja Morant is not a bad potential target for me. He'll put up some big time counting stats. And you're just not going to find a guy that's going to score like Ja and assist like Ja with not great foul shooting. Jaylen Brown is another possibility here with the poor free throw shooting. There goes DeJounte Murray. So the other options are now off the board. I don't want Paolo Banchero. I know he's good in a punt free throw form, but you also are getting bad field goal, you're getting terrible turnovers, and he doesn't do much defensively. I would far prefer Ja Morant in this spot over Banchero. And there goes Ja. What a son of a gun. And there goes Jamal Murray. So it gets to me, and I don't really have anybody on my board right now. I'm up a little bit of a creek. I don't want Paolo. I don't think I need to go big man yet. So Jaylen Brown is probably the guy that makes the most sense here, given my build. It's continued scoring, some boards, some assists, good steals, good threes. Field goal percent is decent. I'm just counting on the fact that at some point later in this draft, I'm going to run up 2 or 3 centers in a row. And then whatever you're like, oh, well, Jaylen Brown, Scotty Barnes, De'Aaron Fox, like you're piling up 47 percenters basically. Is Giannis going to be able to cancel those guys? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because I'm getting the guard stats that I needed here. And I'm doing it without taking much of a hit in field goal percent. What I got to make sure that I don't screw up is assists also, because Giannis gives you a pretty good start there. Fox gives you a decent chunk. Barnes gives you a decent chunk. I don't have the giant assist guys. At some point, I'm probably going to have to just throw one in there, even if they're bad at field goal. It doesn't matter. Because, again, at some point later in this draft, I'm going to be piling up, the Hartensteins and the Pirtles and the Mitchell Robinsons and guys that are very, very bad at free throw shooting, and I just don't care. They're extraordinarily valuable in this build. And it's why, in my eyes, you don't have to go big man early in a punt free throw team. There's a lot of options. I probably should have put the board up. I didn't. Sorry about that. I'll just list them. So after me, it went Franz at 45, Jimmy Butler at 46, Paolo went at 47, and Vooch finished off the round at 48. That's too early on Vooch. Still think it's too early on Paolo. Again, Paolo, you got to be punting basically 3 things to get him to his marker. Jared Allen goes 49. Perfectly reasonable pick if you're not punting foul shots. Emmanuel Quickley at 50. He's a guy I like. I got to start feeding my board here. Zion is very intriguing to me at this point for more big-time scoring. Again, there is a little bit of a am I overloading a particular category? Maybe. But once I start running up my big men later, I'm going to be losing points. Zion does not hit threes, so that is an area where I need to be a little bit more cautious. Gobert goes 51. So the other thing is, do I take like a Darius Garland here and make sure I get the last assist guys? Now, Zion's probably going to get about 5 and 5.5 assists per ball game. So it's not like things are not ruined. Keegan Murray goes 52. It's probably Zion here. Julius Randle would be another interesting one because he's a big score, rebound, assist guy who doesn't do the other stuff. I think I prefer Zion, though. I think he's going to score more. Randall's going to get the rebounds, but I don't know that I badly need those. I guess the threes for Julius are intriguing. We'll go Zion just because, again, I am overloading it a little bit now. Probably took field goal percent there that I didn't badly need. Julius Randle would be the next one on the board. Big man who assists. This is all very important to the build. Let me throw the draft board up so everybody can see what's going on right now. Let's see. Let me check the window. Make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, that's relatively clear. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. If I zoom in more on my side, it'll pinch off the corners. You know what? There we go. That'll work. That's about as good as it's gonna hit. So Jalen Duren goes right after me at 54. Mikal Bridges 55. Zach LaVine real early at 56. DeAndre Ayton at 57. Derek White at 58. DeMar DeRozan at 59. I like the Derek White at 58 is an extraordinary value. DeRozan at 59 is good. There goes Garland at 60. So if I was thinking about grabbing a few assists here in this moment, I probably just need to keep taking guys that are pretty good at it. I don't think I'm going to find anyone at this point that's excellent. Garland's kind of the last one who could be excellent. I guess Chris Paul, but that's probably not a direction I'm going. I do want to see what players are left. I still have Randall in the queue. He's intriguing. Pascal Siakam is intriguing. I need to make sure that I don't completely biff steals. That's another issue here. I don't want to punt multiple things. I know I could, because free throws cooked. I could also punt, another thing that guards usually do like threes or steals. I just think there's a way to get steals with this. Barnes is good. Fox is good. Brown is good. Giannis is good. Zion's the only guy I've taken so far that's not much of a steals dude. I'm going to shore up blocks later with the centers that suck at foul shooting. So right now I'm still mostly focused on scoring and assists and steals out of whatever guys I get. Tobias Harris, Nick Claxton, Miles Bridges, Josh Giddey are the first 4 off the board in this round. Then goes Brandon Ingram. Siakam and Randall are both interesting. They both pass. Randall's going to probably hit more threes. Neither one of them gets many steals. Devin Vassell is actually not a terrible option here. He's not a great free throw shooter. There goes Siakam. Or do I look down the board a little bit and, take a shot on a bad field goal guy like Cam Thomas? Probably not. This is a weird spot. I could start to do some grabbing, like a Kuzma is not terrible there. I don't know how you pass up Randall for this build. I may end up getting stuck with him whether I want it or not. Yeah, we'll go Randall. Randall at 68. Not my favorite thing in the world, but we're doing it. So that one was probably one I would wish that I'd have back. I don't know that he gets to that marker. If you're punting turnovers as well, which maybe I am, unclear. Brook Lopez 69, Mark Williams 70. I think if I had that one back, I would take some more time and scroll the board a bit. Maybe even consider starting to do the big man run, or going with someone like a McCollum, who's going to do less. And I'm generally fading the Pelicans this year, but he's a not great free throw shooter. That's part of why his numbers go down. Whoa, auto picking happening again. We lost someone. Brandon Miller at 71, Nurkic, and then Michael Porter Jr. at 72 and 73. So it's looping back around to me pretty quickly here. This may be a time for me to start thinking about the big man run. I don't know that I have to do it in the 7th round. I think I could squeeze out another scoring type. One more scorer. There goes Isaiah Hartenstein. So that takes one of my favorites off the board. Kuzma is interesting, but I taking a big hit in steals there. But boy, he can be strong, and I'll be fine in field goal percent. I don't have to worry about that. So Kuzma's on the board. Cam Thomas is on the board for me. Bradley Beal goes at 75, by the way. I don't want these other guys in between. D'Lo would be steals or threes and assists if I needed them. I think Kuzma will get enough threes for it to be useful. Kobe White off the board. As I do some scrolling here, I don't know that anybody else is going to be snatched before it gets back to me. Like, I could go RJ Barrett, but I still don't fully trust RJ Barrett. All right, we'll go Kuzma here. So I've really overloaded scoring categories on this team. It's a screwy team that is probably now punting turnovers and free throws. Steals have gotten a bit weaker over the last 2 or 3 picks, so that's problematic. Again, I haven't addressed blocks yet, but don't worry, I will. Rebounds will also be addressed in my last, probably the 9th, 10th round type of stuff. What I'd like to find out, and we'll learn here in a minute as we go a little farther into this draft, is how long can I wait? Jabari Smith Jr., Tyler Hero, Jonas Valanciunas, 78, 79, and 80, the next picks off the board. How long can I wait before I go after those true punt free throw centers? And did I miss my chance? I mean, obviously, I need another. This is a screwy build. I probably need one more guard. I mean, I know I need one more guard. But I've done a good job of getting decent assists out of pretty much everybody. Now, Yahoo has this standings board you can look at, and it has me as basically like 3rd place. Now I'm dropping like a stone. But again, like, I'm not going to win a Roto League right now, so this board is not particularly interesting to me. I'm not going to win a Roto League with this because I'm likely punting multiple things, and I haven't addressed blocks or rebounds, really. I don't have a single true rebounder. Giannis is a great rebounder, but I don't have a center on this team yet. Cam Thomas, Trey Murphy, sorry, goes 81. Cam Thomas, 82. D'Lo, 83. And Drew at 84. So we're getting to that point now. I got to start figuring out, is it the time for me to make my run at the punt free throw bigs? Or are there so many of them that I don't have to do it yet? I need a guard of some kind. Shooting guard, point guard, whatever. Doesn't matter. So I can actually fill up my roster appropriately. McCollum is probably the best one left, and he's becoming a value in the 90s as Caruso comes off at 86. I am dangerously close to falling out of contention in steals after a pretty good start to them, by the way. I could go Jalen Suggs, but I don't expect him to score or assist all that much, so I don't know that he really fits, even though he would get me back in the mix in steals. Rozier is also kind of in that same mold. Do I want to go Jordan Poole and really lean into it? Probably not. Herb Jones is intriguing. Efficient steals. Again, maybe not build specific. And a lot of these guys are just not like, I could go Anunoby. That's not a terrible one. Jonathan Kuminga probably gets about a steal a ball game, but he's not a guard. Simons and Jakob Poeltl come off the board. Or is this the moment? Do I start doing the plunge on like a Walker Kessler or a Mitchell Robinson or something like that? So there goes McCollum. Do I wait on the guard or do I make my move on the guard now? That's really where I'm at. And I forgot to put anybody in my queue, so this might be panic time for me. You know what? It's probably time to do the first punt big, or, you know, we'll go Colin Sexton. Sure, we'll go Colin Sexton. We'll take a guard here. That was a weird choice. I don't know what the hell I'm doing anymore. I got to stop showing the draft board, and I got to load up a queue. Basically, at this point, listen, for those of you that are watching, I'm pretty much seeing how long I can wait before I would go for the punt free throw bigs. I'm neglecting them because I want to see when they'd come off the board if I don't do it. So there's a little bit of recon now at the end of this thing. I needed to get the key guys early, but now I have an opportunity to see what the future may hold. My team is probably not going to win steals. I think I may have to be okay with being middle of the pack in that one. And I'm staying on the player page right now just so that I can try to load up some stuff. This is probably a time when you take a few shots, honestly. What do we got here? Capella, then Middleton, Herb, Suggs, and Rozier. That's through 97 now. Kuminga would be interesting for this build. He just got drafted at 98. Jeremy Grant off the board. I don't think I want Chris Paul, though it certainly lunges me back into a steals contention. Maybe I will do Chris Paul. I haven't had him on a team. Steals and assists. I do need a guard. So there goes Anunoby. It's my turn now. I have Chris Paul in the queue. If I was just playing it out, I'd probably go Bogdan Bogdanovic here. I think he's going to have a pretty decent season, and everybody hates him right now. I'll go Chris Paul just to let it fly. The end of this draft is not one that I'm super concerned with. I really just want to see where these guys start coming off the board, because there's a few of them now where you've got, who's left here on the center side? You got Okongwu, who's not a big rebounder, but better at free throw shooting. Walker Kessler, boards and blocks. Derek Lively is going to be defensive stats and boards. Mitchell Robinson, defensive stats, boards, and field goal percent. Trace Jackson Davis is floating around in there. I really want Amen Thompson on this team, so that's probably who I take next if he's still there. I mean, that's what I should have done instead of Chris Paul, is Amen. Porzingis and Kessler, so Walker's off the board. Am I forgetting one other of the punt free throw bigs? Draymond Green just gets drafted at 104. Zach Edey. Daniel Gafford is still down there at 142. So there's still quite a few of these big men left. And really the first one of the late ones to come off is Kessler at 103. So what I think we're learning in this moment is that we're probably okay waiting until at least the 9th round in a punt free throw situation to shore up all that big stuff late. You can go Andre Drummond even. I'll throw him on the queue just so I don't have to go hunting for him again. But he's way the hell down there at 149, and he'll be decent. Andre Drummond will be a great last pick for this build. I'm not going to take him now because there's way better options out there, but just saying, throw him in the queue so you don't have to go hunt for him. Tyus Jones after Bogdanovic, and Jordan Poole. This is basically the end of round 9 now. And this, I think, is sort of the wake-up call because Okongwu off the board now as well. So Mitchell Robinson is still there. Derek Lively's still there. Trace Jackson Davis is still there. Where's Gafford at? I had Gafford on the queue before. There he is. Daniel Gafford. Marcus Smart goes at 109. So we still have Mitchell Robinson, Lively, Trace Jackson Davis, Daniel Gafford. We still have 4. And Gafford's not really a punt free throw guy. He's like around 70-ish%. So not quite as atrocious there. But we still have 4 punt free throw bigs left. And I probably need to get 2 of them. So I may have waited a little bit too long here. This thing is showing my team, and it's showing that it's not built out. But obviously, Chris Paul could go in the point guard spot. De'Aaron Fox would slide up to guard, and Jaylen Brown would take that small forward hole that appears to be unoccupied. So I'm going to shrink that part now because it's nonsense. Avdia at 110, Horford at 111, Dante DiVincenzo at 112. Well, I know I'm going to get at least one of my punt free throw bigs because there's only 3 guys between me and my next selection. But this is clearly the time. 10th round, or I'm in real trouble. Because if I don't get those guys now, then I'm screwed. Because I never shored up blocks. I never shored up rebounds. My field goal percent is fine. Jalen Green and RJ Barrett go 113 and 114. We just lost one team to an auto pick, so this dude is likely going to end up with Naz Reid. And now that's starting to confuse things a little bit. I don't know that we're going to stick around for the last 2 rounds of this thing. It feels unnecessary if we're losing 1 or 2 teams. I guess we'll see how the next couple rounds go. All right, waiting. There goes Naz Reid. All right, so now it's time for me to take my first punt free throw big. And I really still want Amen Thompson, but there's almost no way he gets back to me. So I should have taken him instead of Chris Paul. In terms of the punt free throw bigs, the one you probably trust the most is Mitchell Robinson because he's starting and playing a ton. And if he shoots 41% at the foul line, who cares? Because steals and blocks are excellent. So we'll go Mitchell Robinson. If I wasn't punting free throws, I would have gone Amen Thompson and Daniel Gafford. Mike Conley goes 117. I'd be floored if Amen made it back to me at my next pick, which is what, like 121 or something like that? No chance. Malcolm Brogdon to 118. The fact that we have one team here auto-picking might help. So they took the 2 off the top of the board. Pajemski, then Bogdanovic, and Portis were the next 3. So, I mean, I don't think this is accurate anymore. I don't think there's any chance I would get Amen Thompson in the 11th round. That's just not happening. He's going by the 9th or 10th round in most drafts, and I would take him there. Obviously, I'll take him here if he's still there, but I think you guys get the idea. So, Amen Thompson, go earlier, and then, 10th round, 10th, 11th round, you got to get your punt free throw bigs. You can't wait any longer than that, and you might have to go earlier if it looks like they're starting to peel off the board. So Derek Lively just went at 122. This is a dangerous spot. I'm probably not going to get the guys that I want right now. And after this one, I'm gonna close it down. I'll show you guys the draft board while we're talking it through, but I don't think the results from this point are accurate. Shaden Sharp goes 123. I can't show you the entire draft board. Yahoo doesn't make that particularly easy, but I will mention my team, and then we'll wrap this thing up. So we'll keep this one on the more brief side. This will be a 30-minute mock instead of 40, which frankly they probably all should be. I don't know where the commercial break got inserted, but please do like, rate, and subscribe while we have a moment. So Amen Thompson made it back to me, which is ruthlessly absurd. There's no way that should have happened and never would. I got him at 125. That's not happening. So here's what my team looks like. My queue, by the way, is Trace Jackson Davis, Daniel Gafford, and Andre Drummond in whatever order. I'd probably go Gafford over Jackson Davis, and then Drummond would be last. My team was Giannis, Scotty Barnes, De'Aaron Fox, Jaylen Brown, Zion, Julius Randle, Kyle Kuzma, Sexton, Chris Paul, Mitchell Robinson, and Amen Thompson. The picks that I made that made no sense were Sexton and Chris Paul. Colin's fine in there, but that pick should have been someone with more assist or steals upside because my team was score fine. I have positive scoring. Scotty's a small positive, but Giannis is a big one. Fox is a big one. Brown's a good one. Zion's a good one. Julius is a good one. Kuzma's a good one. The scoring was fine. I didn't need Colin Sexton to put in buckets at a high clip. I needed threes or assists or steals there to cover up some of the guard stats that I hadn't really leaned into hard enough. And then Chris Paul made absolutely no sense because that's a zero upside play. It's assists and steals only. As a nonsense call. I don't know what happened there. But Mitchell Robinson, Amen Thompson, other punt free throw bigs here at the end is exactly how you finish out a draft like this one, because you got to make sure you get the categories that are harder to get in a punt free throw build. So threes, steals, assists, get those categories earlier because it's going to be impossible to get them later, for one. And second of all, you have so many big man options late that are just awful at foul shooting. That's the reason they're not 40 slots higher up the board. So you can get those guys later on, and that'll allow you to do what you need to do. Somehow my big men are still on the board. There goes Trace Jackson Davis. Like, this draft is now a fart. So I'm gonna close this thing out. It doesn't matter what gets back to me because it's no longer accurate. But I think it was relatively close for at least the first 9, 10, maybe 11 rounds. But once we lost one or two teams to auto pick, then it wasn't anymore. I will put these results up on Twitter. We can talk about them a little bit more. I'm basically just going to put the first 10, maybe 11 picks up there and then note that the auto draft took over. But we can talk through kind of the punt free throw look a little bit. This is the first time we've done a true Giannis build. What's nice is that you do have those options in the second round of Sabonis, Ant, Barnes, LeBron. Ant not quite as great there, but not as brutal. Maybe you say LeBron, Sabonis, Scotty Barnes. Those are probably your best second round punt looks. You like LeBron probably the most because of the 3-pointers. But again, if you know you're going to get those big men late, you could take Barnes, who's slightly lower in field goal percent. And it's funny, like you can mess around with the numbers a little bit. If you look at last year and you do punt free throw, then LeBron is number 9 and Scotty Barnes is still number 16. But if you punt field goal at that point, then they flip-flop. Barnes moves ahead of him, which is kind of what I did. Like, I didn't care about either percentage with my second round pick because I had Giannis, first of all. Like, my field goal is going to be fine. And I know that I'm going to take care of it later. So think about those things. I know that with LeBron, you're like, 54% field goal and bad free throw. But you don't have to target it that specifically. And then the advantage LeBron had over Barnes last year was the better scoring. But I decided I wanted the better defensive stats. I think Barnes has more steals than LeBron this year. I know they were basically a dead heat last season. I think you probably go either way. And I went youth, which is unusual for me. I know that. De'Aaron Fox is kind of the one you almost have to get in this build because he gets 3 threes a game and big steals and 6 assists out of that point guard spot. You're very rarely going to get a point guard that does all those things and then sees his value also leap through the top of the building when you don't worry about free throw shooting. He's terrific there. The other thing you can do, and we get caught up in the like, oh, we got to get the guy who's the worst at foul shooting. You don't. Like, if you really had to early on, you could just take a guard. You could just take any old guard who's on the board, whether or not they're good at free throw shooting. Now, you probably don't want to target someone like a James Harden or a Dame, where foul shooting is one of their best attributes. But there are other guards out there who are merely decent at foul shooting that still work fine. Like, if you need the assists or if you need the steals or something like that, that's okay. Because you're going to have so many field goal percent guys as you roll through your draft, it'll cover up 1 or 2 bad ones. All right, we'll put a pin in this one. Let's try to do another mock in a couple of hours. That's the goal for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Again, hit the like button if you're watching on YouTube. Feel free to throw comments in. I probably should have mentioned that before. It's always fun. Chit-chat. Talk about these drafts. What do you like? What do you not like? I'm assuming you disliked the things that I also disliked, but where else would you have gone? These things are fun to think through, especially every time the board changes because you have different options in each round, learning about when to target your guys as well. So throw a comment in there. Subscribe. please rate and review on the other, the stuff. And I'll see you guys soon. Dan Vespers is the Twitter. That's where the next mock is going to go first. So if you want to join one, you got to follow Old Man Squad as well. I'll see you guys in a little bit.